So let's use an observable. What I've done here is, just to get you guys some code to work with if you want to dive into this yourself, is I've gone into Angular4 docs right here, tutorial right here in the menu, and then HTTP. Now in the beginning of the tutorial they talk a lot about promises, how you can use promises. Go and read up on that. That's, I wouldn't say the old way, but that's another way to retrieve your data using then. So you can try and go and read up on that. I'm going to jump right into Observable since I've already explained a lot of it to you. And you can go and read a lot about this. It's approximately the middle of the page here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and implement the hero search service. The way they do it, we're going to grab something from them and actually use that in our course service to actually grab some observable data. So step one is, notice they're actually using, in the constructor, they're using a new dependency injected class called HTTP here. So we're going to do the same. We're going to, in our constructor, I added the HTTP here, and that means I, of course, have to import this HTTP right here. So that was step one. Step two, what I want to do is I want to explain to my system that I'm actually going to return, instead of a list of DOM courses, I'm just going to return actually an observable of courses, like this. Because then anybody who wants, like I said before, anybody who wants to listen at any point of time can do it. And so instead of returning the actual data here as an array, I actually instead say return an observable, then at any point you want to do it, you can actually grab the data again and again and again if you want to. So instead of returning one array, I'm going to return the way to get the array. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to return this array. Now notice TSLint helps me here. It says this is blacklisted. You actually should be very specific of what class inside RxJS module you want to use, and we're going to use the observable class here. So just know that JSLint, you could actually run this, but JSLint tries to protect you here. Good. So now we have that part available. The next thing I want to do is actually grab all of this information right here, where we actually do the actual request using the HTTP request. So we're going to grab that instead of this guy. Let's delete him and actually add it down here instead. Now it complains we need the map. And the map is another thing from RxJS, which can actually map JSON into actual TypeScript objects. So here it's actually mapping the response, the JSON response, into actual hero objects. In our case, we are going to map them into courses instead of course. And notice another thing I just did is I removed this .data part, because response.json will actually return the JSON as I need it. I don't need to do .data because I'm not putting it inside a data property inside my example here. Notice when I do this, I actually get the JSON directly inside the array right here. I don't have a data field or something up here saying here's the data hidden. It seems they have that in the hero tutorial. That's why they put in the .data. It's just a way to find a specific JSON field called data. We don't have that, so that's why I removed the .data right here, and then I add the course instead of hero. The last thing we need to do is put in the right path here. Right now we are pointing at the wrong path because they are pointing at the hero tutorial path. So I'll just paste this in here. Now we're getting post back. So that's it for this lesson. That's it for this lesson. Now we actually made the course into, instead of using hard-coded data, it actually returns an observable that we can then use to actually get the real data. So remember, I did not actually execute anything for getting data right now. I just prepared the observable so he's now ready to actually go and grab some data. Next lesson, we'll try and use that to grab the data. See you in the next lesson.